Welcome. We're going to continue our exploration of technology use in this class, and now we're going to answer the questions on the right. And I'm actually going to show you how to use GeoGebra, but more specifically, GeoGebra's graphing calculator. If you notice on my iPhone screen, I have several different graphing calculator apps. The top two rows are all GeoGebra based, and all of those are free. So you can download all of them and play around with them and see what you like best. I'm going to recommend you use the graphing calculator. Otherwise, that one at the bottom that says G.calculator, that one's like $5, and it mimics a TI calculator near perfectly. So almost every feature is identical except for some trace functions on the graphing, but otherwise they're identical. But that won't cost you money, and if you're avoiding spending money right now, which makes sense, then I would stick to the free GeoGebra ones. The lovely thing is about GeoGebra, this one has a lock on it, and I allow it in my in-person classes on exams because there's a really great feature that locks it so I know my students can't say cheat and use an algebra solver or something else. So if you ever take an in-person class with me and you have this free app installed on your phone, you will be able to use it on my exams and quizzes in class and don't need to buy an expensive calculator. All right, that said, let's answer part A here. So let's locate the text field where we enter our calculations and equations. And you see that's where the little plus sign is. Like I can put 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 1 and hit enter. And then if I want to clear it, I have to hit these ... and just get delete. And there's all sorts of other settings here if you hit the bottom ... So now we want to type in the absolute value of -6. So let's see, how can we do that? If you notice that these little bars towards the bottom left, and that'll give you that absolute value. Then I can type in -6. And the great part is there are not two different minus signs here like there are in the calculator. And then without even hitting enter, you see your answer right there. But if I hit enter, it'll skip me a line. So I know -6, the absolute value of it, is just equal to +6. And we saw that on the calculator. And now you can clear this, but I often just don't because it's a pain to tap these ... and hit delete. So I'm just going to keep going. And now we want to know the square root of pi to 6 decimal places. So let's type in our square root, which has its own button there. And then to find pi, it's right there on the screen, kind of the top rightmost quarter of the left side of buttons, and that's pi. And again, without hitting enter, you can see that it's the same value. So the square root of pi, and actually I'm going to go to more than 6 decimal places. I'm going to go to all the decimal places I see here on GeoGebra, and that is approximately 1.7724538509055, and that's all the GeoGebra decimal places. And if you want to see a difference, go here to settings and go to general and rounding. You can go how many decimal places we want. So let's go to 5 decimal places and then we're done. And there it is, rounded to 5 decimal places. Or we can go back to general, we can go rounding, and I can go significant. Let's go 3 significant figures, and there we are. So there's all sorts of different types of rounding on here. And I'm going to stick to, say, 15 decimal places. Look at that. I got an even longer answer now. And I'm going to underline. This is really all we wanted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So same answer we got previously. Okay, so now our keyboard went away. What the hey, right? So no worries. It says input right there. So just touch the input button with your screen. And then go ahead and type in 4 divided by 7. And what's really nice, it will always change it to a fraction mode. And then if you hit plus, you notice that plus symbol's in the denominator. That's not where we want it. So let's hit the backspace button. You're going to want to hit the right arrow key and then hit plus. And then go 1 divided by 14. And that's 9/14. And then if we want an approximate form, you just hit that purple key that says, the 2 little squiggly, they look like this. That'll give you the approximate. It's purple. And then I can go exact by touching that same button again. So let's write that down. 4/7 plus 1/14 is equal to 9/14, which is approximately 0.6428571428571443. Whew, that's a lot of decimal places. And again, you don't need all of these. I just wanted to show you that on GeoGebra we can get a ton of decimal places. Now, finally, let's use our exponent feature. And so there are two options for exponents. They're right next to each other. There's the dotted box with the 2 as the exponent and the dotted box with a dotted box as an exponent. So it should be fairly intuitive that if I want to say get 3 squared, I use the dotted box with the 2. But if I want to get, say, 3 to some other power, say the third power, then I use the dotted box to the dotted box power. All right, now that we've talked about that, let's go ahead and try to compute the two different values. And this time I'm not going to leave a gap since that was explained in the last video. So if you haven't seen the last video where we go over TI-84 calculators, I would watch it so you can see why you get two different answers here. Otherwise, spend some time if you don't want to watch the video figuring out those two different answers on your own. Anywho, a negative 3 to the 4th power, and we're going to leave this in parentheses, so I have to type in parentheses minus sign 3, and then you don't even have to close the parentheses, it automatically closed it for you. So hit the right arrow, hit the box to the box power, and that'll move you to the exponent, and then type in a 4, and you go ahead and get 81. And now I can do this again. I can hit minus 3, box to the box power, and then 4, and that will give me negative 81.